Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Peachy and this channel is all about my Sylvanian families collection. For today's video, I've got a really exciting vintage piece to show you. It's this item here, which is the Tomy era Lock-Keepers Cottage. This item was a UK exclusive and first came into the range in 1993. I have been hunting this piece for quite a long time now, a very long time. It's quite difficult to find in good condition with all the pieces, but I finally managed to find one and I'm so excited. I have coveted this piece since my childhood. I remember very specifically an advert that always used to be on the TV that showed this Lock-Keepers Cottage with Captain Seadog, the motley crew, his little rowboat, and also the canal boat and the otters. I was lucky enough to have the canal boat and the otters in my childhood. I got Captain Seadog a little bit later when he was re-released in the Flare era, and this piece had always eluded me to complete that little setup that I had in my mind for this canal scene in line with that advert. I did find the advert on YouTube, so I'll link it in the description or on a card here if you want to have a look at it, because it is very nostalgic, real 90s vibes. But let's get on with taking a look at this piece. The box is not in the best condition. You can see there's some staining and some bending and lots of tape on it. To be honest, I wasn't that worried about the box. I was more interested in the contents, but it's nice to be able to have the box so we can take a look at it. These have got this really vintage vibe. I love the blue and white and then the green and the cartoony details on the background. Here is the cottage with the canal boat. This is the kind of scene from that advert I was speaking about earlier. And then it's got multiple languages, but here's the English side and it says, "This unusual home has everything for anyone who loves living by the water. There's a balcony with its own telescope and a crow's nest with a flagpole, just like the ones you see at the top of a ship's mast. Inside you'll find a ladder leading to a balcony and a comfy hammock slung in the rafters, while outside sits Polly the parrot on his perch, watching the world go by." There's a nice interior shot there. I think that is the same as this big one on the front. Here, the otters are shown as living in the Lock-Keepers Cottage, but for me, in my village, they live on the canal boat, so this is going to be Captain Seadog's. Probably workplace rather than home, because his whole family isn't going to fit in here, but he will definitely be using this for his work. The top of the box shows obviously the old Sylvanian family's logo branding. It hasn't changed that much, but it definitely doesn't look quite like that anymore. Then it's got multiple languages with English as the first one here. And then the bottom of the box is quite plain. It just has a few barcodey bits and bobs. Let's go ahead and get it open and take a look at the pieces inside. That's interesting. It's got some flags here explaining how, I think it's called semaphore, is it? The language of maritime flags. So that's fun. You can actually make out words. So here's what the building looks like out of the box with none of the accessories attached yet. There's some little hooks on the wall here. The stickers are all in place. This one here is annoying. I want to get it off, but it's really stuck on there and I don't want to damage it. So that Waterways of Sylvania sticker is probably just going to have to stay down there. I'd have rather had it over here though, or under the window maybe, but beggars can't be choosers. Got the Lock-Keepers Cottage sticker here. Then on this side there's a little window that opens just like that. It's a little bit stiff, I think, because of the age. Then here you've got that lovely balcony where he can look out over the canals. On the back there's another opening window. And then this side is a little bit more plain. It's this lovely creamy white colour with the blue tiling on the roof. This is just a cardboard piece. The floor inside is plastic rather than wood, so you can tell that it's a little bit later. The very first buildings had a kind of wooden chipboard kind of floor. in terms of size, it's not a very big building at all. If you have or have seen the Tomy era horse stable, it's the same mould as that, I think, in terms of size. Obviously this bit has been added on the side, but in terms of the kind of footprint of it, it's about the same as that. You can see with Captain Seadog in there, get an idea of the scale as well as my hand. Captain Seadog is a normal adult size figure. Then let's have a look at all the little pieces it came with. So first of all, there's these clips on the front that have some pieces that clip onto them. So on the left side, we have this kind of stick piece that just slots in there. And on here goes a lantern. This is very typical of the mould for the lanterns in the Tomy era. And that just goes on there like so. And then also there's a bell to hang there. I love the moulding on this. It's even got the separate little part inside. It doesn't move, but it looks very effective. And I really like the colour they've used. It really makes it look like metal, even though it's plastic. And it hangs on there like so. The great thing about these is you can kind of turn them in as well if you were putting it away. Or you can have them sticking out if you've got a bit more room. Then on the other side we have this interesting piece. This is a perch for Polly the parrot. So let's pop that in. These are a little bit fiddly to get in. Mostly because I don't want to damage it in case it's a little bit brittle from age. But that's pretty much in there. Polly's got this little umbrella and then a perch that he can sit on. We'll have a look at Polly himself in a little bit. Then other internal pieces, we have a ladder. Again, very standard moulding for the ladders of this time. There's a little notch in the balcony just here, which that sits against so you can access the second floor. There we are, just like that. I think you could probably have it a little bit higher as well if you wanted to and put it more upright like that. Takes up a little bit less footprint down here and feels a little bit more secure as well without blocking that window. And then finally for the inside, there is this hammock. This is really cool. It's all made of knotted string, so it's very realistic. And it's got two pieces here where you can hang it, and inside there is one hook at the back here and one hook that's kind of the same height just up here, and then the hammock can hang in there like so. I'd probably be a bit scared sleeping on that. It's very high up if you happen to tumble out of it. But I'm sure Captain Seadog is well used to sleeping in a hammock from all his seafaring adventures. If we turn it to the side, you can see the hammock a little bit better. Pop Captain Seadog in there and see what the size is like. Yeah, it definitely fits him very comfortably, or I'm not sure how comfortable that looks actually, but it works. Then on the balcony, there's a couple of pieces. First of all, we have this nice telescope piece. This moves on the axis there. Would have been nice if there was a little bit of detail here for the lens, but considering it's Tomy era, then I think that's kind of fine. That sits in here and you can twizzle it around. It's also at the perfect height for him to be able to look out of it. Just pop the camera up a little bit so you can see a bit better. There we go. He can have a good old look at what's going on. And then on the other side, he has another of the lanterns that just sits on there like that. And then the last two pieces are the crow's nest and flags. These go on the top of the building. So if I move the camera up again so you can see. The crow's nest goes here on the front, and then the flags slot in here, and then they make the building very, very tall, so I'll pull back for you. That's how that piece looks on the top. And then Captain Seadog can stand up here. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze, but he can stand in there. He'd stand in there a bit better if his hand wasn't in the way, but you get the idea. I do like how easily this piece comes off if you do need to make the building a little bit smaller to fit wherever you're wanting to fit it. So I'm glad that they made that quite an easy piece to remove rather than moulding it in. And then if we come down again, here we have Polly the parrot. Polly is this lovely bright yellow and green colours. His little feet are black. He is flocked, just like the Sylvanians, but he's not movable, can't pose him or anything. He also has little beaded eyes like the Sylvanians as well. And he can clip onto the perch here and sit there quite happily as Captain Seadog's trusty friend. Polly does give the same kind of existential crisis as the Sylvanian horses, in that we have bird Sylvanians in the range who are anthropomorphic, but then obviously we have Polly, who's an actual bird, same way as we had horses who were just normal horses and then later anthropomorphic horses. So it does call that into question again, but let's try and put that to one side and just appreciate how very, very cute Polly is. Now the rest of my canal theme sets up here on this top shelf in this display. This is all water and it's a very thin shelf, so I don't think I'm going to be able to fit this building up there. But what I would like to do now is make a nice big scene featuring all the canal-esque products and set that up on my long table as a kind of summary scene. Maybe there'll be some picnics going on and things like that. So look out for that at some point in the future. As you can see, there is a nice amount of room still in here that you could decorate. There's definitely room for some furniture in here, so I'm going to have a bit more of a think about what exact furniture Captain Seadog would need for his work and what would look good in here. I'm thinking dark browns, probably a little desk and maybe a table and chair area so he can have some meals. He's obviously got his hammock, so he doesn't need a bed, but maybe some bedding for that would be nice, make it a bit more cozy. But that's all I have for you for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about this set. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye for now.